Please join me in welcoming her on stage. The title of her speech is Why Not? Tulia Lopes.
Women in this family don't get sick. When they get sick, they die. And they die very old. This was one of the statements I heard very often from the women in my family. And that was a clear message for us, even like as children, that we were to be strong, we were to be resilient, and we were to keep going. As a girl, I was very active and creative. And I was always with the boys. I was not really with the dogs. I really wanted that freedom that the boys had. However, although the woman in our family had very strict rules for us, the girls, you have to perform, you have to be strong, you have to keep going. But out there, you have to know the rules out there, and you have to be like a girl. There was a clear communication among those women, which I observed very carefully when I was a girl. Not too many words were spoken. Looks, gestures were enough to tell you what you should do and what you shouldn't. And for us as children, it was very, very clear that we had to behave. Even for the girls. The boys, there's always the benefit of trust that they will improve. As I grew up, for me, it was kind of confusing, this kind of education. In one side, I was to be an Amazon, strong, fight. If you fall, you get up and keep going. And on the other side, I have to be like a girl. I have to admit, I was very much inclined to be the Amazon. The princess girl thing was not really my thing. And as being teenagers, I asked questions. And my favorite question was, why? And the second one, and even more, why not? That led to so many discussions and arguments with the parents. Because the answers were, because I'm saying so, because that's the way it is, it always been like that, just do it. Got to the point that I realized, okay, I don't ask anymore, I just do it. When I got to university, I was very lucky. I went to the exams and I was accepted. I was only 17 to become an architect. I wanted to be an architect since I was 14, so it was a dream come true. Didn't know too much about the profession, but I knew that I would be able to explore my creativity. I knew I was going to draw buildings. And the university represented freedom as well. As from Cecilia, or someone else said, a way for the family. Yeah, the family boundaries. But what the university gave to me was much more. I found my tribe. How many of you talked about tribe today? And that was a very important thing because I found myself included in a group. But throughout my life, I was always felt like someone different, and I was tagged as the rebel. And in my university, my faculty of architecture, instead of asking the question with that negative connotation, now I was allowed to ask the same question, but instead of saying, why not? I was saying, why not? I was among creative people where everything was allowed for your imagination. Our main obstacle was gravity. We had to make sure that things would stand up. I was on my early 20s, I finished college, and this was the early 90s, 1990. I had the opportunity to have a working experience in Spain. Barcelona! I have to say to you, for the ones that don't understand 1990s, because it's not part of your life, that was a huge thing coming from South America to Europe, even more for newly graduated. And that was a historical moment. 1992, Barcelona was to become the host of the Olympic Games. And for us, young architects, that was paradise. We were becoming part of something very important, special. It was multicultural, and we were shaping, building, and making Barcelona the pretty Barcelona that you know today. And I felt important. I was part of something very important and very big. And I had big dreams. I felt very successful. Then years passed, 2 years along the line, I realized that if I wanted to continue my career internationally, as this door opened, I was thinking big, I had to improve my English. And with that thought, 1 year later, precisely 1993, January, I moved to Ireland, to Dublin, to improve English. After a few months there, I was lucky enough to find my first job in architecture's practice. Mr. John O'Connor. It was a gentleman on his 40s with a very posh English accent, very unlike the Irish. However, Mr. John O'Connor was a name in the 18th century architecture, restoration. I had no clue of what I was getting to. But hey, why not? I worked with him for months. He was a gentleman, and it was an amazing experience. And then, another historical moment. I'm going to refresh your memories for the ones who can recall those days. 1994. Dublin, Ireland was becoming the IT hub of Europe. Sonny, probably, where are you? Probably you were not even born that time, but that was happening, okay? And there was no comfort zone there, I promise you. The Irish took it, embraced it. It was an opportunity, and I was there. And by chance, someone came to me and said, can you translate this text from English to Brazilian Portuguese? A friend needs that desperately. Said, I'm not a translator, but why not? So I did. But what I didn't know, what I was getting to, this text was a manual in hardware. I had no idea what hardware or software was, not even how to turn on a computer, and I had to learn how to turn a computer to translate in DOS, that now you lost. So I did. It was an experience. While I kept working with Mr. John O'Connor, I guess I did a good job because they kept asking for more, and more, and more, and more. And Ireland was becoming from this agricultural country to this technological hub. And I was there, and I saw this happening around me. As Agnes said, I'm curious, and I started putting my ears, checking, and people kept asking me for more and more and more. Fast forward, about a year ahead, I, with a friend, started my own localization company, providing services to the Brazilian market. If you don't know what localization means, it's a fancy word they use for translating software and hardware. And our small company called Nanos Unlimited soon became a reference. And we soon had 10 people working for us, and we were outsourcing in Europe. Brazilians. We didn't even go to Brazil because in Brazil they didn't even know that this existed. And the criteria was very serious. We would call people and say, do you know English enough to translate to Brazilian Portuguese? That was it. Because the rest, everything else, we are learning. It was really learning by doing. Not only us, but even the other companies. Because all these big corporations that came to Ireland, Microsoft, Symantec, Apple, you name it, they needed the labor. They had the managers. And we were there, and we were open to do it. And they trained us. And that was a huge opportunity to anyone, as a foreigner, to be in this situation. And the money was outrageously ridiculous good. At the end of the day, I had to make a choice, and I had to leave Mr. John Connor. Because running a company and having Mr. John Connor was a little bit too much, and the centuries were not really matching. And I continued with the company, and I was doing very well, and I took the opportunity. Completely, not in the comfort zone at all. I learned about line production, project management, team leading, crisis management, intercultural communication, everything. I jumped in this boat, and soon I was the captain of that boat. And I really enjoyed it. Because someone said this here today, I also learned that what I really enjoyed it was people. Was to be around people and to be able to inspire them, to be able to lead them. And I found so powerful to be able to engage them in idea and get them together to deliver. It was a huge experience that I would never ever thought that I would live if I wouldn't have just tried it. But hey, the reason for all these companies coming to Ireland was because the government had given them 10 years of tax incentives. The 10 years were approaching to finish. And corporations, being corporations, they know numbers, they think numbers, and when the numbers are not there, they move out. And the same way they appeared, they started disappearing. And behind them, they left hundreds of unemployed and a huge damage in the country. Many managed to get relocated. Singapore was the next location, or back to USA. And some stayed. And I was one of those who stayed. I still had a job, I still had things to do, but the job, the demands was decreasing dramatically, and also the rates. We are not making the same money as we did before. So, got to the point where I felt that another big decision was about to come to place, that I had to move on. What I'm going to do next. Back to architecture. I have been in the IT for that period for almost 10 years. That would have been very difficult. And also, as you know, when the economy goes down, architecture and engineering are one of the first ones to go down too. But one thing I knew for sure, that in this process, I discovered something very special that I never thought before, was my entrepreneur bug. It was a real bug, and no cure for that bug, Lutica. No cure. And I said, I want to continue being an entrepreneur, being independent, but I want to go back to my creativity. What can I do to go back to my creativity? And I kept working while deliberating. Something's going to happen. And I do believe when you put intention and focus, something happens. And in one trip to Brazil on holidays, I saw this beautiful jewelry we have in Brazil with semi-precious stones, colorful. And I said, wow, they don't have this in Ireland. Why not? Back to Ireland, did my marketing research. Fast forward, in 6 months, I have my store in a prominent area of Dublin, of Grafton Street. Frances, you know, she's from there. And a new life started for me because I became famous. From coming from behind the computer, all of a sudden I was in the newspaper. And the Brazilian embassy loved me. I was their best ambassador. Never mind the hair, okay? and in that, I also discovered another thing. My ability to talk to people and connect to them in a very different level. And as nothing happens in your life for no reason, I understood that this ability came from my training as an architect. Because as an architect, what you do is you talk to people and they try to explain to you what they want to become solid, physical. And most people have no clue. And you have to somehow read in between the lines and the corners and ups and downs and then draw that, make them to the center draw, and then make that reality. And I observed that I was able to read in between lines of people. And if Citalia was here, she would understand when I say people never tell you the truth about themselves. And as a doctor, Marcos said that to me, your patients never tell you the truth. You always have to read the between lines. And it was very interesting because one day, this is falling. One day, a gentleman came to my store and he looked around and said, "What are you selling?" What am I selling? You can see what I'm selling there? And I said, well, excuse me? He said, what are you selling? Oh my God, one of those nuts. That's okay. I said, oh, jewelry? Yeah. You're selling a dream. You're selling a dream. And that is what you're selling. And that for me opened a completely different perspective for me. And my store became a reference. People would come to me for asking suggestions, what they should use to tell their stories, all their dramas, and that was really a great experience with this development with people. And I was back to my creativity again because I could talk to the designers. I was not a designer myself, but I was helping them to go even further. Life seemed to be very good. Successful, I had a very good living, but not really. Because, as you know, not only in the corporate world, but once we women start stepping the front line and start leading, start getting too much evidence, that was a little bit too much for my Cuban husband. And the relationship started fading away. And the interesting thing was, I was very much used to deal with problems and try to find solutions. But then, for my personal problem, I evaded as if something will happen and then disappear. And of course, I focused more and more in my business. 2005, I sold everything I had. I packed everything I had, well, my suitcase and my dog, with one-way ticket back to Barcelona. To stay in Ireland was a bit too much for me. I was there for 12 years, and I thought to myself, well, why not? Let's start again. I arrived in Barcelona full of energy, in that city that I felt completely identified, and also as if I was part of making that beauty. And I had all the good plans and the energy. And when you have good energy, things happen. And I got the store in the Gothic area, in a very good area. I got a beautiful apartment, big apartment, because I was big. I want to show the world that I was going to do big and in style. So a big apartment for me and the dog. So everything worked well. I had my beautiful store. And then one day I sat down and I looked around my window, and what I saw was my dog. With all the love I had for him, I realized that I was absolutely alone. In that beautiful city, I knew 2 people, and they had their own agendas. And ahead of me, I had the huge responsibility and liability of a new business and to make it happen. But then I realized that I didn't have the energy. I had to find the energy because, hey, woman, in this family, don't get sick, keep going. And I kept going. My past, I was always a good deliverer. If I look back to my story when I was an architect, when I was in IT business, I worked 7 days a week, 10, 12 hours. They loved me because I was an extreme good deliverer. And I was going to do it again. However, my energy was working in a different proportion of my effort. So got to the point that I could see that something had to change. But then another historical moment happened. 2008, European crisis. And for one who has a jewelry store, in a country where people were not even buying their basic stuff, no comfort zone there, Sunny, I promise you, jewelry, who needs that? And I struggled even one more year, but in 2009, I had to close my store. In that moment, what I looked ahead of me was not very promising. I was alone. My dog was sick. He was an old guy. Don't need to see him anymore. And I was completely broke. Absolutely broke. I had invested everything the last year with this despair that something would happen and that I would make a change. So I had to start again. How? Architecture? IT. Let's go back to it. Let's write. So start calling people. And it's important to you understand the emotions of those moments. You're not so excited to call people, to say that, oh, after 10 years I'm here because, I decided to come back. But you have to keep some spirit, keep smiling in your heels. Even a friend of mine said to me one day, said, darling, I don't know if I admire you or if I think you're completely nuts. Because the world is falling apart and you're still smiling. But that was the way I've learned to do things. And eventually I found new tasks coming, and I have to say some people were happy to have me back, and I started getting back on my feet again. But then that was the first time in my life, maybe it comes with maturity, that I realized that I always be in a go, do mode. And because I was a good believer, that kept me going. I had this energy. I had energy I didn't need even to sleep. And at the moment I realized something has to change. But what has to change? And that is a big question, because it's when you have to look inside of you. I first, of course, looked for that. But then I realized that I had to look for help to support me. And in that journey was when I also discovered the power of communication, the power of expressing your words assertively. And why I say that? Because the women in my family were very good, very powerful, but here, in the background. And here's the praise I see many women still today. At the moment they had to come in the front to express themselves, they would get lost. And then I realized that even if I was very effective and very good performer, I didn't know how to express myself. And probably if I knew, I would have avoided to be where I was. And then I started investing on myself. Many talked here about find a mentor. I found mentors and I started working on myself. And then I realized that this ability that I had, many people have and died on them. And I decided that it was time to give back. And it was when, about 5 years ago, I started working on how can I share my experience and support women to come, to find their voice, and to take from them what they have best, their talents, because everybody has something to share. And then I created this space. And this space I created is not for me, it's for you. And in fact, this is the 5th event, it's the 3rd in Zurich, and it's the first time I'm on the stage speaking and telling my story. Because since the beginning, what I wanted is, I want you to come here and share your story. Because at the moment you decide that you have a story to share is when you really internalize your value, your talents, and you're ready to give that. Many of us deny that for their whole life. The women of my family, they were powerful, they were amazing, but most of them would never step forward and say, do you know what? I'm doing that. Never. And how many women we know when you ask them, what are you good at? But what you're not good, what you don't like, oh, the list is colorful. So I come here to you today, is my call to you. You heard many speeches today, and everybody talked about reaching out. Go there, stand up, and that is the only way we are going to make this difference. Everybody's saying that, oh, we need women in leading position. Yes, we do. Yes, we do. But we need to find our voice and then express with clarity what we want, what is important for us, and what the difference we want to make in this world. And I really invite you to really look into yourself, because every story matters and every story needs to be told. And if, ladies, someone challenges you, you look at the face and say, why not?